Today, I'm going to show you a super simple hack to automate your real estate business so you can close 20 to 30 transactions at least every year for the rest of your career. Hi, this is Real Estate with Alyse and Jay, and I'm Jay, and Alyse isn't able to join us today. So I know if you've been in the business for a few years and you're feeling stuck, like you're just not getting where you want to be, your income is still unpredictable. It's kind of like being on that roller coaster. It's up some months, it's down some months. That's also leading to stress because you're always trying to figure out where your next deal is coming from, where your next leads are going to get into the pipeline. Look, no doubt the current market is tough for real estate agents with low inventory and high interest rates. But I'm here to tell you that it's still possible to close 20 to 30 transactions this year, even in this market. And even if you've never closed more than, 5 or 10 or 15 transactions a year in your career before. I'm a real estate broker with almost 2 decades of experience in the business. And I've had over 10 years of experience helping mentor agents, especially those agents that have been in the business for a few years, but are still feeling like they haven't hit their stride. And we've all seen how the market has shifted and how things are really tough in our industry. They're all around tougher for all of us. And I've seen a lot of real estate agents getting out of the business. And I've seen in related industries like mortgage brokers getting out of the business, mortgage loan officers, title companies are reducing their staff. A lot of them are even tightening the wallet on how they can support the agents out there in the business. So everybody's feeling it all over the industry right now. In the last few years, things were easy. Deals were falling out of the sky, hitting you on the head and asking you to write a contract for them, right? I mean, it seemed like it was that easy, right? So being that easy, now that the market has shifted, a lot of agents are getting out of the business. And if you still want to be in the business, we don't want that to be you, right? And really the prize at the end of this is if you can make it through this, you're going to really set yourself up to be gaining market share and to be one of the big top producers in the next 10-year, 20-year run of the market, right? Whenever that bounces back around. But if you've been in the business less than 10 years, you haven't seen a market like this before. And so you're probably a little bit concerned. And so enough of that bad news, let's get to the good news, right? And we're going to talk today about a plan of action that you can follow to sell at least 20 or 30 houses a year, every year moving forward. People have been doing it for decades, but this is the modern way to build the foundation of your business from repeat and referrals. And this is without cold calling or spending hours and hours on the phone prospecting every day and without begging your friends and family to send you a real estate deal. In fact, this is all based on goodwill marketing so that people will want to call you and text you and ask you if you can help them buy their next house or sell their next house. First of all, why would you even want to build the foundation of your business off of repeat and referrals? And that's a good question. And that's why I wanted to go over kind of the top 4 reasons today why we should consider building our business that way. First of all, it's the fastest way to your next closing. I mean, most online leads, social, Zillow, whatever, they start the process at least 6 months out. And a lot of them, maybe they're not even buying for 12, 18 months. So that's a long lead up time. Meanwhile, most referrals or repeat clients, they're going to come to you within about 60 days of actually needing to get something done, right? So it's a much faster process. Second, that means that you can get 10 leads and you'll close one of those 10 leads that are coming from a repeat referral source. But if you're the average agent, you're going to need 100 leads to close one deal from those online and other outside sources. And if you get good at this, you can easily close 3 or 4 out of 10 of those leads, which means now you're talking about 30 or 40 times better conversion. Number 3, it's just more fun to work with somebody that already knows you, likes you, and trusts you. And they're more aligned with you and they're more inclined to do business with you or send their referrals to you from their family and their friends. So if you think about it, if you work with a client on a one and done basis, then you're going to get paid once and you're going to move on continually chasing year after year. But if you're working with a client for life, then you're going to get paid for a lifetime out of that. And mathematically, the lifetime value of a client can easily be $50,000. And that's kind of depending on the market that you're in. But, think about it. You help somebody buy their first house. They're all excited. They're going to tell their mom, their brother, their sister, their cousin. So you're going to help that person. You're going to get that referral. Then in a couple of years, they're going to be ready to sell that house and buy a new one. And if you're doing this right, their cousin is, or the other person that you help from them is also going to be needing to buy or sell around that same time. So that's 5 or 6 transactions because you took care of that one client. And you start multiplying that out by, however much the home values are and what your commission charging. I mean, now you can start to see where that lifetime value can come from. Finally, all the top producers are doing it, right? What do they know that you don't know? And if you look at every top producer in every market across the country has a client retention system, a repeat referral process, something that they do to stay top of mind and in front of their past clients. And trust me, I did it the hard way and I tried to figure it all out on my own. And like I said, I spent a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy learning by trial and error. And what I discovered is there was just a much easier way. Like all I had to do was follow somebody who was already doing it. My path was, it took me 5 or 6 years of learning of that trial and error process of that unsteady paychecks, unpredictable going up and down, struggling to pay the bills and all that trial and error stuff. And then when I figured it out, it takes a year to implement it. And year 2, year 3 is when you really start to see it flourish and you start to see the hard work pay off. But from that point moving forward, it's worked every year consistently, predictably, and it makes everything much easier once you have this foundation built. So the first thing you got to do is build your database, and you got to think about this like your warm leads gold mine. All the nuggets are in there. You just have to keep digging for them and digging for them and digging for them. And building a database, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be time consuming. It doesn't have to be hard. What you want to do is put everything into a Google sheet, and all you need is 5 bits of information: name, phone, email, their address, and their birthday. And if you can get their birthday, that's great. If not, you can always build out the relationship a little bit and then ask them for their birthday. But later in the video, I'm going to show you how this super secret hack ties in with what we're just talking about here. But just to give you an idea, when Alyse and I sat down to do this, it took us, and we'd already been in the business for a handful of years, like I said, it took us probably 2 hours a night for 2 or 3 weeks to take everything. Nowadays, you can actually download your phone contacts onto a spreadsheet or a CSV file, and then just use that as your basis, right? So now we're going to talk about using that database along with an email and a snail mail system, and then start sprinkling in some of that social media on top of that, because that's why we built the database. And I just want to stop and bring the attention to it right now, is that if you don't build a database, then there's nothing left to talk about. It's kind of like you have a fancy new car and you want to talk about all the places you want to go, but you don't have any gas in the car, right? You're never going to get there. There's no sense in talking about going to those places. So now once you have the database, we can start to use that to automate and scale your business. And what we have is typically we use email as the entry point into our database because it's super inexpensive and it doesn't cost very much to utilize, right? So as people start engaging and interacting with our emails, then we can decide, let's spend a little bit more money and put them into the snail mail program. Let's invite them to lunch. Let's do something like that. So the email is the entry point, and that's what makes it really important. And then as we start to have conversations with them, like I said, then we can put them into the snail mail program. And these are just a great way to have people stay in touch. I mean, we have people reach out to us all the time because we sent them a card or a birthday card, or just something that made them happy and something that they weren't expecting. Especially when you think about it, most people are only getting bills in the mail these days, and they're getting like 4,000 emails in their inbox. So if they get a nice card with maybe a little gift attached to it or something like that in the mail, you really stand out from the crowd. And plus you start really building that goodwill with them. So this leads us to our big super secret hack, right? So as you're engaging with your emails, people start asking questions like, what are the interest rates, or how's the market, stuff like that. So now you've got questions that your database wants to have the answers to. So what you do is you make an 8 to 10 minute YouTube video. So once you're done with the video, the thumbnails, the description, the title, all that stuff are done. What you do is you take that link and you run it through an AI system. And there's several of them out there that'll do this, but you run it through the system and it's going to create 10 to 20 posts for you that are already ready to format for LinkedIn, for Facebook, for Instagram, for your stories, your reels, all that stuff. So now you've got these assets that are ready to be, it's ready to go as your social media post. So then what you do is you take that YouTube link and you'll stick it into an email, and you're basically going to say, a lot of people have been having questions about interest rates and what's going on with those. And so this video is going to answer those questions. Hope you enjoy it and hope you're having a great week. Short, sweet, simple email. Send that out to your database. They're all going to receive it. That's going to build that know, like, and trust factor. You're going to be staying top of mind. And it's kind of like watching, when you have a movie star or somebody famous that you really like and you connect with, even though you've never met them, but you've seen them, on interviews and you've seen them in their movies and stuff like that, you feel connected to them. That's what's going to be happening with those videos. And that's also your email follow-up system. So that's your long-term nurture with those people that are in your database. They're getting that updated information with relevant questions week in and week out. And so that's what makes this hack super simple, but super effective, is because you're going to take one 8 to 10 minute video and you're going to get multiple uses out of it. And I know for sure you can get 6 or 8 or 10 uses out of it. Plus, if you're anything like me with social media, if I post 10 to 20 times a month on my own, I'm doing great, right? But now being able to post 10 or 20 times a month when those posts are already made and already ready to go, because I took the time to make that one video, that's going to make your social media game just a little bit better. And again, that's where you're going to be connecting to your friends, family, people that are already following you, stuff like that. So they're going to see you as the expert because you're answering these questions. That just builds up that KLT factor, the know, like, and trust factor. Plus, everything you put out there on YouTube is evergreen, and everything on social media and all that stuff. Those are all like billboards on the internet super highway. And they're just out there working for you 24/7 for the rest of your career. And that's why this is a long-term process, because it'll work early on for sure. But the more you do it, the more you do it, the more you do it, the better and better, and the higher and higher it's going to be. Now, plus you're getting with YouTube, you're now searchable on the #2 search engine in the world. And that's adding relevance to Google on the #1 search engine in the world. So I know that's a lot of info and we went through it pretty fast. And if you have any questions, like I said, just call, text, or email, or jump in our calendar link and we'll schedule a time with you there. So thanks for watching. And as we like to say, keep Austin weird and keep San Antonio cool.